So yeah, no, I'm not a human. This is a game I did play in Steam Next Fest here recently, and played the demo for, and really enjoyed it. Was looking forward to the main release. The demo does cut you off before finishing and ending. So going into this, got to play the entire cycle of nights, which is like, I don't know, I think like 12 nights, 13 nights, or something like that. I'm trying so hard to stay focused because Paul Heyman is introducing Brock Lesnar on WrestlePalooza. Where did Paul
Dude,
come from? Did he just pop out of nowhere?
I didn't even see him.
I don't know where he came from. But anyway, no. So, this one that me and my wife's been looking forward to. So, the whole concept behind the game, for anyone that has not checked it out yet, is basically the world is ending. Something with the sun has erupted, and you can't really go out in the daytime anymore. You have to stay indoors in the daytime, which also, let's shout out the fact that if that happened, we'd all be dead. There is no situation like this game. We'd all be dead. But with the fact that you sleep during the day, you wake up at night, you stay in the house at night, and you essentially let strangers into your home, and you can choose to shoo them away or keep them in, but you need to bring somebody in, because if you're by yourself, then that sets up a situation where these invaders can basically mess you up. Because now with all this happening with the sun, have invaders that are coming up from underneath the ground, and they basically take the form of other people, killing people brutally, mind you, and disguising themselves as just an everyday person, which that's a big element to the game. Obviously, is as you let these people in, are you letting in an invader or not? Each day on the news, you'll get different tell signs to what an invader is. Whether it's like, I think the first one was bloodshot eye, or no, it was teeth. It's perfect straight white teeth. If they're completely perfect in every way, that's it's a tell sign of an invader. Bloodshot eyes, dirt under the fingernails because they're digging up from the ground. Hairless armpits. I mean, the list goes on of just random things that is a tell sign for these invaders. So when you reach the daytime, where you would need to, just kind of, go to sleep potentially, that is your chance to go talk to the people that is in your home and kind of get a gauge on what they think and how they're feeling, as well as test them, because you have so many test energies that you can do each day. Starts off with 2, it may go to 3, 4, 5, and I think one time we got up to 6, where it gives you the chance to test someone, and you can test the same person every time if you want, and test multiple things. But you basically say, hey, I need to test you, and it's like, all right, let me test bloodshot eyes. If they have bloodshot eyes and you think they're an invader, you can shoot them right then, and when you shoot them, it'll give you the icon of like an invader face pops up on the screen and glitches out. So it's like, okay, cool, you got one, good job. Or you can kill an innocent person. So it is kind of that deduction process. And if you have 2 invaders in your home, then each day when you wake up, you'll get a little icon saying that somebody has died, and you walk around the house and you can find just a trash bag of a bloody trash bag of one of your residents have died, which again, once it comes down to where either you're alone or it's just invaders, that also means that you can die, which is obviously just going to be one of the endings. And then as you go through the game, you get like the main, I guess, invader of the game, the one that you see outside your house at night that's just standing around being creepy. He comes to your door multiple times. He'll talk to you, and he doesn't hide the fact that he's an invader. He's very cryptically forward about it. He'll always ask, "Are you alone?" And you'll say, "No, I'm not." He's just like, "Okay, I'll come back. Don't worry." It's very clearly the invader. He's the cover art of the game. So you'll see him multiple times. You'll see a couple other characters a few times. Like there's this one bald guy who is essentially like a psychic. He talks about how he has deviation to see into the future, and he'll basically give you different hints to kind of alter your gameplay. So like a couple things that he said for us is when you see the cat, you let the cat in no matter what. So it's like a couple nights later, there's a really creepy chick that comes up to our door with a cat. It's like, all right, guess we're letting the cat in. Then it's also, he comes back later and he says, "Oh, I see you have the cat. Good." And he's just like, "You cannot test anybody for the next 2 days if you want to see me again." And he'll just leave. And it's just like, okay, well, I guess we're going a couple days without testing anyone. He'll come back, and it's just further giving you different hints to kind of continue your path and open up, continuing the game. So and it just continues to evolve as well when you have like this force called FEMA who's out, in toxic bodysuits that are trying to clean up the streets and trying to maintain the situation, take out invaders, whatever, where it'll reach a point where they'll come to your house every night and they'll take 1 to 2 people for testing, and you'll never see those people again, basically. So that also can put you in a bad situation of where you're getting depleted on people. So again, you can't just turn everybody away. And there are clearly people you can turn away when you see them. So like there's one stranger that came up where it very clearly looks like he got decapitated. He has a very clear line on his throat, which is kind of probably a sign of an invader. So it's like, yep, not letting you in, buddy. I can already tell you're an invader. Get out. There are situations as well where you can have a character come up and ask you, take in these people for me and just hold on to them for a couple days. There's some people who's just like, hey, my husband died. I just want to be here for the night. I'll be gone. I just need to rest, kind of thing. So it's like, the abilities to kind of, really change your gameplay and kind of make the narrative of it change constantly. It's honestly, for a pretty simplistic game, it's extremely deep. Because again, you have the multiple endings as of now until they want to add more. You have up to 56 people you can meet. In my one playthrough, I encountered 33, but that doesn't necessarily I meet them all, because obviously there's a lot I turned away. There's some that was just quick in passing. There's some I didn't even really get a chance to talk to, because there was one where it's like, I think it was a situation of where this dude's like, hey, can you please watch these people for me? And then me and Christina, we were in a bad spot. We had a couple invaders in, and shit, next day they died because we had 2 invaders. We hadn't figured out who the invaders were yet. And also with the invaders, it does change because we've had one particular character who we did meet in the demo that we shot, and they were not an invader, and we kind of let them live for a little bit. We had some people die. We're like, all right, let's go back and talk to her. Talked to her, ended up killing her. She was an invader. Like, okay, all right, cool. There was another character who was an invader in the demo. It's not an invader now. So it does seem like it does kind of change playthrough to playthrough. So like you have 56 characters. There's no clear tells who any of them are invaders. You get a chance to encounter some other characters as well that are changing how the game is kind of played, where there's like a mercenary character who will test you, and he'll want to ask, features about you, because it is possible for you to become an invader. You can also test yourself going into the bathroom. So there's other secrets to uncover. There's one secret that the deviation guy kind of told us about, where he said, don't do this until this day. And I finally went to go do what he was talking about and opened up an entirely new secret to the game that I didn't even really get to explore with my one ending. So for just an indie horror game, man, there's so much, there's a lot of deep stuff to it. There's a lot of replayability. Like I said, you can finish a playthrough in a single setting in about an hour. I mean, about an hour, me and her got to the 12 nights, and through the 12 nights, when you wake up at night, you have the chance to look out your windows finally, and you see how the game is constantly changing. Your neighbor's house gets burned down. Your neighbor will die potentially. There might be a way to save them. Me and her thought about it later that, oh yeah, we could have saved our neighbor. I don't know. You'll see teenagers hanging out one night. Next day, teenagers will be dead. You'll see a squad of soldiers out this night. The next night, they'll be dead. It's like there's constant changing as the game continues. The entire town is burned down, are all around you except for you. So it's like the game constantly changes with you night to night as you get closer to the apocalypse, and basically determining with your 10 endings, are you going to make it through the apocalypse or not? So man, it's a phenomenal game. I had a lot of fun with the one ending that we got. Me and her felt like we got the most basic ending, potentially, is kind of how we felt. But man, it's just, there's a lot of deep stuff to it, man. I'm looking forward to picking the game back up. It's kind of, it's almost in the same realm of like, the Mortuary Assistant, where it's like, there's just like, for an indie game, there's just so much to it. There's like so many layers to it. So, no, I'm not a human, man. Absolutely great time so far. I mean, I'd say it's a solid 8 so far,
Yeah.
only with the one ending. I've had a lot of fun. It's very simplistic. It's very easy to play. Anyone can play it. It's not really scary. I mean, you could play it. It's not like there's jump scares or anything.
Yeah. I mean, from what you said earlier, there being 56 characters that you can meet, but then it's like having the system in the game where it's like you can meet up to 56 different characters, but they're not going to be the same every time you play the game. That in itself adds a little something to it.
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
it makes it where you can't just necessarily blaze through it without thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I always appreciate little things like that,
Yeah.
where it's like small little changes where it's like, I guess kind of like where when you load it up, it kind of goes through the character list and it's like just a yes no on invader essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You have to really pick and choose your battles each day, when you finally get a chance to talk to them on, kind of how you want to approach it. And it's also just like with how characters look and stuff like that. Cause it's like, we reached a point with one character and he ended up being an invader for us of, we had a decent amount of the tail signs and like one of them was like the hairless pits, for example. This is a pretty burly man. You know what I mean? He's pretty hairy guy. So, one of our first thoughts was, okay, just out of curiosity, let's check his pits. Because like naturally you'd think he's gonna have hair, hairy pits. So it's just like let's see if he's got hairless pits. It's stuff like that. So it really makes you think on how to approach all these characters, especially when you can just look at like the character models and just kind of how they look. You can kind of get a vibe of how they're going to be and stuff. Need to get better on the tail signs, that's for sure. Because me and her had a lot of misses.
Oh yeah,
Had
I mean,
a lot of misses.
yeah. I mean, if you've done one playthrough so far, it's like, yeah, you're not gonna find everything right away.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely had a lot of fun with it so far. I'm looking forward to continuing it. What going to be one of the best like indie horror games of the year, though, for sure.
So interesting thing about this game, not this game itself necessarily. Uh it's funny that you mention it's a game that I could play because I did add a game to my wish list. I think either today or yesterday that is tagged as a survivor horror game.
Ooh, okay.
And interestingly enough, can be there is a bundle that this game comes with. No, I'm not a human.
Really? Okay. All right.
Game's called Look Outside.
Is that why you told me to have
Yeah.
Steam ready?
Yeah. This looks like something. It looks like something that I might actually play,
Let me
but
see
it
this.
also looks kind of up your alley, where this game takes place essentially inside of one building. It's I don't know the full context of the game. I just kind of looked at it briefly, but it takes place in one building that you kind of explore and like explore in. There's all kinds of like enemy encounters and stuff, but you kind of have to go through like with your flashlight, find your items and kind of find your way through it essentially. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it right now, but I found it interesting that like I was looking at this and I was like, oh, this looks like something I might actually play. And then I saw the bundle with
Yeah, I see
No,
it right
I'm not a
here.
human. And I'm like, that's kind of funny.
That is pretty solid.
But yeah, this is one that I'm looking at that I might actually pick this up and play this. And I thought you might like it too.
Yeah. No, let me I'll try. I'm on browser, so
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I can't. I'll add it to my wish list. Forgot I was on browser there. Yeah, no, I'll have to add that to my wish list. Look outside. I'm gonna do that right now before I forget. And also shout out to Video Game 1980s. I said hello on Twitch. Thank you for stopping in. I'm sorry I was on a long monologue speech back there. I didn't want to lose my train of thought.
Yeah. The idea of look outside is some mysterious event turns anyone who looks out the window into grotesque monsters. So it's I guess you're trying to survive and figure out what's going on without looking out the window.
Oh, that's actually really cool. All right, yeah, I got that on the wish
So,
list.
yeah,
I'm about to check that out more.
It's one that I saw. I wanted to bring that up to you, and since you were already talking about No, I'm Not a Human, it seemed like the perfect time to bring it up to you.
Yeah, no, gonna have to check that out, man. Gonna have to check that one out because I'm always down for some more indie horror games. I mean, spoiler alert. My Gamestetic game of the week this week will also be another indie horror game. So no, I'm always down to check some more out. So thank you for letting me know that. I'll have to tell her about that too because I bet she'll be down for it as well. But no, I'm not a human. Solid 8 out of 10 so far. If you are into indie horror, you should 1000% check it out. It is an absolute great time so far.